Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode, we have a very special guest. She's a Shattuck St Mary's legend, tallying up over 211 points. She has won a gold medal for Team USA in the Under-18 World Championships, and she is currently a freshman at Wisconsin, looking to help give the Badgers their sixth NCAA championship. Welcome to the podcast, Casey O'Brien. How is it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Now, you play your first college game in about 12 days. How excited are you, and what are your expectations for your first game?
Yeah, I can't wait. We head to Ohio State in about 2 weeks, and I'm super excited. I'm not really sure what to expect. I've never played at this high of a level really before, and so I'm super excited just to get things going with my team and see how it goes.
Yeah, you're playing Ohio State, like you just mentioned. They obviously won the WCHA last year. What do you expect from that team, and how do you plan to stop some of their top players like Emma Malte and Tatum Skaggs?
I know they're a super hardworking and gritty team, and so I think coming off of that loss last year, the team's looking for some revenge. So I think we're less focused on stopping their better players and more focused on just playing our game and making them react to us.
Now, is there any particular team you're most excited to play this year, or a stadium where you're looking forward to visit?
I'm definitely excited to play Minnesota. I know there's a long history of rivalry, and there's definitely some girls that I've played with and against on that team. And so I'm super excited just to be part of the border battle and to hopefully bring home a W playing at Ritter.
Yeah, and as you know, LeBron Arena is one of the loudest and best atmospheres in college hockey. I know you haven't played there yet as a player, but how do you think the lack of fans will affect your team's play heading into this upcoming year?
One thing that we've actually been talking about a lot is with the lack of fans is that we're going to have to make up with that with energy in the locker room and on the bench. And so we've been just trying to keep the energy and the cheering on the ice during practice super high and just like trying to motivate ourselves. And I think we've been doing a really good job of that, just like being there for each other, because I obviously don't know what it's like to play in front of a crowd that big, but those girls do. And so it's going to take a lot from everybody on the bench just to hype each other up and get us motivated.
Yeah, and what's it been like preparing for this upcoming season, and what challenges have you individually had to overcome playing hockey during a pandemic?
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot harder because we started out just practicing and lifting in smaller groups, and so we weren't able to work on like systems and team chemistry a lot. But in the past month or so, we've been having full team practices, and so that's definitely helped a lot. It's definitely hard to adjust to, but one thing I've had to remind myself is that everybody's going through this. It's not just my team, it's not just me. And so, everybody has to react to the adversity. And I think it's honestly made our team a lot stronger for it. And we're a lot closer off the ice just because we've been spending so much time together.
Yeah, and you're wearing a mask under the bubble. How has that been like, and how do you try to deal with those conditioning drills? Because that seems like it's very hard.
We actually haven't been wearing a mask on the ice. I think that's only the East Coast schools that have to do that. So
Wow.
we're wearing our normal cages with no mask. We've definitely been lifting with our masks on though, and that's definitely been a lot harder. But I do think it's actually helped us on the ice because we have to get in better shape because of it.
Yeah, and now during your time at Shattuck, you played against many great players, including a lot of D1 commits. Even with that, what's the biggest adjustment you had to make to your game so far in college hockey?
I think the biggest adjustment I've had to make to my game is just the maturity of it. There's a lot less opportunities where I'm going to take the puck myself, and I really have to be like a heads up player when I'm playing against all of these older girls. I know at Shattuck it was easier to just take it end to end myself, or to like I've been playing with the same line mate Mackenzie Webster who went to Shattuck too, and so we've just had to adjust to moving the puck instead of our bodies more and just being more heads up for sure.
Yeah, and how does the freshman class look like so far, and how are you guys adapting to the new team?
It's definitely been hard for us, coming in just in the pandemic, but I think we're looking really good. We're super close off the ice, which has definitely helped us on the ice. And the upperclassmen have done a phenomenal job of making us feel at home and making us feel welcome right from the gate.
Yeah, and what's it been like to play under Coach Mark Johnston, and what have you learned under him so far? Because he's obviously a hockey legend.
Yeah, it's amazing playing under him, just like watching the miracle on ice to watching the amazing things he's done with the Badgers. It's really cool to just he's one of our everyone's idols. And so that's really cool to play under him. And he's definitely taught me what it takes to get to where I want to be, you know, whether it's the Olympics or winning a Patty Cast. He knows what it takes, and he's willing to help everyone meet their goals and their expectations.
Yeah, and like you just mentioned earlier, you also get to play with one of your former Shattuck teammates in Mackenzie Webster. Is it cool for you getting to play with someone that you're comfortable with, and since you've been playing hockey with her since high school?
Yeah, it's so cool. There's no one I'd rather play with than her. We just kind of playing with her, it's like, you know, I feel like I always know where she's going to be and she knows where I'm going to be. It's just like a second nature. And so I think having the opportunity to come in and play with her right off the bat, it's going to be really cool. And it definitely makes the transition to the college game a lot easier, just playing with someone I'm familiar with.
Yeah, now talk about playing with some of the upperclassmen. How have you adapted with them, and talk about getting to play with players like Sophie Shirley or Nicole Lamatia and getting to learn from those players every day?
Yeah, it's so these practices have actually been like the most competitive, most like hard practices I've ever been a part of. And just playing against players like Soph and Lama has really helped me develop. And I think one of the biggest things is just like getting stronger on the puck and playing more like a woman than like a girl. And so I've learned so much from all of them. And Daryl Watson, Britta Curl, they've all just taught me what it's going to take to get to the next level to where I want to be.
Now, switching gears from playing with Wisconsin, how was your quarantine and graduation, and what did you do during the summer months to pass the time?
I actually moved over quarantine to Martha's Vineyard, which is an island in Massachusetts. And so that was kind of a big adjustment, especially over quarantine when like ice wasn't available. And so I spent a lot of time just working out in the gym, trying to get stronger, getting ready for the college season. And I'd come off of a hip surgery. And so it was also about strengthening that. And then over the summer, I skated and worked out in Falmouth, which is on Cape Cod with Paul Vincent. And so that definitely helped me to like get stronger and get ready. And we didn't have a graduation at Shattuck. Obviously, like we couldn't really in person just because of the pandemic and everybody's from all over the world. And so I had like Mackenzie Webster and a couple other of my teammates actually came to my house, and we got to watch the graduation ceremony over Zoom. And it was nice to spend it with each other just because we were all so close at the time. But it was cool that we got to do something even though we couldn't be all together in person.
Yeah, I'm probably the first interviewer that actually knows what you went through when it comes to graduation, because I graduated high school last year as well. And
Oh,
we had
really?
we had a socially distanced graduation, so it's definitely something to adjust to. But I just
Yeah,
want to know I understand what you're going through.
thank you.
Now, you're from Milton, Massachusetts. Talk about growing up there, and how did you start playing hockey?
So I was born actually in New York City, and I lived there until I was in third grade. And so I had originally gotten into hockey just because my two older brothers also played, and my dad coached their house league team. And so I kind of got thrown into the mix there, and like I loved it from the first time I stepped on the ice. I think I was maybe 3 or 4. But yeah, my older brother Max, he's played hockey for a long time too, and he's been kind of my role model throughout it all, and I just wanted to be like him. And so I started playing on his teams. I was usually the only girl. And then once we moved to Milton, and when I was in third grade, I started playing boys teams for like the Boston Junior Terriers and the Bay State Breakers. And I think that's when I really fell in love with the game. And I switched to girls hockey when I was in seventh grade and I started playing for the Boston Junior Eagles. And I think that around then, when I was making the transition from boys to girls, is when my like passion for the game really took off, and I attended Nobles in Dedham, Massachusetts. And yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, mostly just because my brothers and my dad, but definitely grew my own passion for it after that.
Yeah, and who was your favorite player growing up, and who you looked up to?
On the girls' side, I definitely looked up to Kendall Coyne. She is 5'2", and I grew up usually being the smallest one on my team, and she was always the fastest one on the ice. And so just watching that, it kind of I wanted to make or I wanted to what's the word, like model my game after her, after seeing what she could do, because it didn't matter how big or small the other players were, she was always the hardest worker on the ice. And then I was also New York Rangers fan growing up, and so Marty St. Louis for the guys was my biggest role model in the NHL. Also, I think his size had a big, and his leadership off the ice had a big factor in why he was my role model.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was cool getting to see Kendall Coyne call the Wisconsin men's game last night at Notre
Yeah,
Dame. So
definitely.
now you played at Shattuck St Mary's, like I just mentioned. How did you get the opportunity to go there?
When I was in 7th grade, I played at the national championships for U14 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I met Coach Stafford, who is the prep coach for Shattuck. And he invited me to come skate and tour Shattuck. And so when I went there, Mackenzie Webster was also touring on that same day. And that's the first day that we met. And I felt I wanted to go as soon as I toured. The question was really when. I was deciding if I should go in 8th grade or if I should wait a few years. And ultimately, me and my family decided that waiting a few years to go sophomore year would be better for me, just so I wouldn't spend 5 years away from home. But everything about the girls, the coaches, the facilities at Shattuck was really amazing to me. And I'd never seen that kind of dedication from any other program. So I knew that that was going to be the spot for me, whether it was in 8th grade or 10th grade.
Yeah, and what's it like going to that school and being a part of that historic program with so many legendary hockey players that went there before you did?
It is amazing to think that when like that Amanda Kessel, Brianna Decker, the Lamoureux twins, that they had all skated under Coach Stafford, that they had all played in that same rink, just seeing what they do now. And it inspired every single player on our team, I know, to do their best every day, because we all wanted to leave a lasting legacy like those before us did.
Yeah, and talk about trying to move away from home at such a young age, and how did you adapt to that?
One thing that really helped me moving away was just that I had known a lot of people on the team beforehand, and a lot of them had reached out to me before I got there. Everybody was super welcoming, and they made sure that I felt at home there. It was definitely hard just because I'd never spent that much time away from home. I'd always gone to school like 10, 15 minutes away from my own house. And so it was definitely a big adjustment. But the girls on the team and the teachers and the coaches all made sure that I was feeling safe and at home.
Yeah, and how did your time at Shattuck prepare you for college hockey?
I don't think there's a better school or program that would prepare me better for college hockey than Shattuck. The biggest thing about it was just the dedication and the competitiveness on and off the ice. Every single girl in the program wanted to be the best that they could possibly be. And so whether it was extra hours in the gym, on the ice, just going hard in practice all the time, it was 100% all the time. And that's exactly what it's like here. It's definitely a higher level here, just being college hockey, but Shattuck was like a mini college. Like, you won't get that dedication anywhere else.
Yeah, and talk about what it was like getting the chance to put some of the best women's players in the world on a daily basis, players like Lacey Eden and Hannah Bilka, getting to play with them, and how did it help develop your game?
Yeah, I think it's easy when you're such a high level player to just, get complacent, especially when you're a senior or junior in high school, where you're getting towards the oldest age group. But having players like Bilka and Lacey and like McKenna really pushed you every single day. Every practice was competitive. You wanted to win. You wanted to, whatever small area game it was, you wanted to be the best. And so getting to play against that high level players kept us at the top of our game every single day. And I think that's what pushed us to have such a great season.
Now, what was your favorite memory at Shattuck?
I think my favorite memory was definitely in my sophomore year when we won the 2018 national championship. Our team was just so close on and off the ice that that championship just came naturally to us, because there was nothing that we thought would stop us, just because we were so close in the locker room and on the ice, and we just worked so well together. That team was something special.
Yeah, and you also played for the under 18 team for the U.S. Talk about getting the chance to play and represent your country and getting the opportunity to play in places like Japan and Russia, some places that I don't think you ever expected to play in your lifetime.
Yeah, definitely not. Those were both two of the coolest hockey experiences of my career. It's truly an honor, whether it's at a camp or it's in Russia or Japan, to put on the USA jersey wherever you are. And just the fact that we got to travel to those exotic places and play was something special. And despite like the outcome in Japan, just like, yeah, like I said, putting on the jersey is just an honor within itself. And we worked hard. We got a silver medal that year, but I think the memories that I made and the friendships we built throughout those teams is something I'll never forget.
Now, what was the biggest culture shock you faced in Russia and Japan?
It was definitely the food. We yeah, we didn't really have, we didn't really know all the time what we were eating, but our nutritionists and our strength coaches, they made sure that we always had food and whatever we needed to perform at the highest level. And so, yeah, we had to adjust a little bit to the adversity in that sense. But all in all, like looking back at it, I would never like complain about that or think that that's something that might have affected the way we played.
Yeah, and what does that gold medal and that silver medal mean to you for those world championships?
Obviously, it's really nice to have won in Russia, and we would have liked to in Japan too. But it's a silver medal is still an incredible honor, and those are two of the biggest accomplishments in my life, and I will never forget either of those. They really, like, looking back at it, I would do anything to be in the same position I was in order to earn a medal, whether it's at the U22 or the Olympic level. But that's my goal heading forward, is to be in that position to earn an opportunity like that again.
Yeah, and what's your secret for maintaining so much success throughout your high school and junior career?
I wouldn't say I have a secret, but I would say that the biggest thing is just to continue to love the game. And if you're not loving the work, the training, the practices, the hours in the gym, then it's not really worth it. I think like every part of it's fun. Like the best part of my day is going to the rink, going to the gym. And so I think that's just what it is that like that there's nothing else that I would rather be doing. And so that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it worth it.
Now, talk about your recruitment process and what made you want to go to Wisconsin.
So I actually have always, when I was younger, I always thought I would end up going to an East Coast school just because I grew up there and most girls do. Um, and Coach Crum reached out to me after, I believe it was Nationals in Green Bay, my U14 year, and invited me to visit Wisconsin. And I honestly didn't even know like what Wisconsin was at the time. I was just so set on East Coast schools. And so my dad encouraged me to come out and visit. And when I did, the second I got on campus, I knew I was coming here. Just the facilities were amazing, the practices, but most importantly, the people were the girls on the team who wasn't even going to play with because they were so much older. And the coaches, they made it incredible for me, just letting me know that what they thought of me and that I'd be welcome here. Like the second I visited, I knew that this is where I was going to come.
Yeah, and what can Badger fans expect from you that have never seen you play in person before?
I can't promise the Badger fans that I'm always going to be the one scoring goal or, like making or like scoring an overtime goal. But I think they can expect that I'm always going to be one of the hardest workers on the ice, and that I'm going to give, them everything I got every day. And so I hope they're excited to see me play.
And what are your goals and expectations for this upcoming year, for team or personal as well?
I know we're pretty confident in our team this year, so every year I would love to win a championship, whether it's WCHA or NCAA. But coming in as a freshman, my biggest goal this year is just to learn from the older players and grow my game as much as I can, because not every day I'm going to get the opportunity to play with players like Sophie Shirley, Daryl Watts, Britta Curl, because it's really cool to be on the ice with them and just learn from them all the time.
Yeah, and this is just a fan question. I know some other fans are probably wondering this. How do we get to watch your games since there's going to be no fans in the stands? Is there like an app where you can stream your games and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet the details, but I know there's some apps like Flow Hockey that you can watch, and I'm sure it'll be on Big Ten some way. But yeah, you can definitely watch it online.
We're now in the non-hockey segment of the podcast, and my first question is, what do you wish more people knew about you that isn't hockey related?
I wish more people knew where I like grew up, because I think a lot of people just assume that I grew up in Boston, but I've actually kind of been all over, whether it was New York City or Martha's Vineyard. And actually now my parents are currently living in Miami. And so, yeah, just that I've kind of grown up all over, and it hasn't all just been Boston hockey.
Now, what music fires you up before a game?
I listened to a lot of AC/DC before the game. Definitely You Shook Me All Night Long. That one is my favorite one to listen to.
Nice. Now, I was reading on the Wisconsin website, and it says that you tutored underprivileged kids in high school. I just wanted to ask you, what was that like? It seems like it was a pretty cool thing that you got to do.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. My freshman year when I went to Nobles in Dedham, I every day, so instead of playing a fall sport, I did community service. And so every day after school, we would go to a school that was about 20 minutes away, and we would just be assigned a student, and we would get to help them with their homework or whatever they wanted to do that day. And so I stayed with the same boy throughout the whole semester, and it was a really cool experience to me, just hearing about his life, where he's from, his family experiences, and how that affects him, and how I could help him in school and life, and how whatever I could do.
Now, it also says on the Wisconsin website that you like to play the guitar. What songs can you play on that?
Oh, I I played the guitar. I think it was my sophomore and junior year. I took classes, and I think my favorite song to play was "Hey There, Delilah." But I can't say I've picked up a guitar in about a year, and so I think I'd be a little bit rusty.
Well, you'd definitely be better than me, I would say that. What's your favorite thing about New England since you've been all around?
I think my favorite thing is definitely the winters when we get to play pond hockey or wherever, there's a lot of my teammates used to have rinks in their backyards. And so I think those weekends after games when we would all just go to someone's house or someone's pond and we just get to play shinny, those were definitely my favorite things about New England.
Now, what's been your favorite thing about Wisconsin so far?
Definitely the people, whether it's the coaches or our teammates. Everybody's here just to make sure that we're doing our best, and whether it's school or hockey, and everybody wants to see the person next to them succeed. And I think that's something really special here.
Now, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, my big, like in hockey or just generally,
Just in general, yeah.
people that walk slow.
I agree with you. That's mine, actually. Um, there's a lot of them in Boston, too. So
Yeah. Oh my God.
now, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Anyone in the world and why? Do they have to be alive?
It doesn't matter.
Mm, let me think about that for a sec. Um, that's a hard question. Um, I think I'd want to eat with Connor McDavid because I think his speed and his just game is beyond, like, I think he's on a different level than everyone is right now in the NHL and just in the world, and I want to learn from him and what he's done to get to where he is.
Now, back to some hockey questions now. What do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey?
I think there's a lot that's in the works right now, especially with USA Hockey. I know that there's a lot of initiatives that they're taking. And so I think one thing that we can do is just reach out to communities that don't have a lot of hockey, especially the girls in that community, and maybe just offer them ways which they can get involved in the game. I know there's definitely some initiatives that they're taking in places like California or maybe North Dakota where there's not a lot going on, but yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of those developments happening in the next few years.
Now, since you manage the Shattuck St Mary's social media account, what should I do to improve as an interviewer and make our platform better and to be better at social media?
I think you're doing a great job on social media. I know we were restricted at Shattuck. We couldn't make the accounts as personal to the players just because it's a school and it reflected on the entire institution. But yeah, maybe some Instagram live things where the fans can ask players specific questions where you guys are both on. I think that would be really cool.
Nice. Is there any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your teammates, family members, or former teammates at Shattuck?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my coach in the summer, actually, Paul Vincent. I've been skating with him since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I think he's definitely made the biggest impact on me as a player. And I'll also give a shout out to Mackenzie Webster and Maddie Wheeler, who are two freshmen in the Wisconsin class, and they've definitely been my two best friends here this year at Wisconsin, and they're making a huge impact on our team as well.
So much, Casey, for coming on. I really appreciate it. Good luck this upcoming season. I'm definitely going to root for you and promote the team as well. And I just wish you nothing but the best for this upcoming year, and stay safe.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.